Hello, everyone. Tell me how your classes were today, or what are you going to teach? I had 7 classes today. I have been selling out. Bookings are hot right now as everyone's trying to use up their package at VIPKID. Today, I actually had 1 class that did not book. It says I have 1 person watching. Say hello. I actually have an Outschool class in 45 minutes, and I only have 1 student in the class. I'm going to go ahead and teach it because it is an ongoing class. Maybe it'll get traction, number 1. Number 2, I've taught it before, so it doesn't take any prep work, really. In the summer, I had a one-time class that only had 2 students, and I did cancel that one because it was going to be a lot of prep work. Rebecca says, hi again. Hello, Rebecca. She's saying hi again because I just did a video with Jerry. She is going to be doing a class for teachers, well, for adults, all about painting a book. If you want more information, go to my other video and see it. I won't repeat everything. All right, so I have StreamYard now, everyone. Yes, so now I can share my screen and show you the weekly report as I read it. So I'm going to read, hi, Luann. Luann says, good morning. I will read VIPKID, and then I will read Outschool. Just had an email out yesterday. And then I also clicked on the more information for the things that I thought were really important. Okay, so here I go. Hold on. I'm going to share the VIPKID. There it is. Weekly report. Okay, so there have been a lot of important announcements over the past few weeks. So we'd like to take a moment to thank you for coming to care deeply about your students and giving it your all in the classroom. In the short term, as the booking rate remains steady, we will continue to provide you with regular updates relevant to your day-to-day experience on the platform. We will also continue to update you with new information regarding the regulations and long-term vision of the company. In case you missed the preview announcement, they have a link to it. And let me know what you all are doing. I am working till the very last minute, trying to spend as much time with my students as I can. But I know a lot of people, their coping mechanism is just to leave before it all ends. All right, so this is the best part about sharing screen. I used to not be able to show you this type of thing. All right, so here is: the indigenous people of North America began farming 4,000 years ago. Okay, here's a slide. Update to, this is level 6, changes based on your feedback. It has been updated. Previously, these slides featured an inaccurate depiction of the relationship between indigenous people and colonists. The story has been updated to instead show the 3-sister method of farming used by many indigenous people. I'm going to try to show the slide while I read, or at least part of it. The content aims to offer accurate, authentic representation of the communities and their relationship with the land. Okay, did anyone know what the previous slide looked like? I definitely have taught these lessons before, but I guess I didn't do it enough to remember what the old slide looked like. Okay. Members of the teacher community expressed their concerns that the previous storyline failed to accurately depict history and minimize the harm done to indigenous people. We recognize that the content was harmful, problematic, and not aligned with the values of our platform. We also acknowledge that some teachers had shared their concerns previously, and we apologize that this content was not updated sooner. We want to extend our gratitude to the Teacher Advisory Council for their help in creating the new content. As part of our commitment to diversity and inclusion, one of the actions we are taking is revising curriculum and content to ensure lessons are inclusive for all who experience them. All right, so I'll show it to you again. So this is the updated one. Okay, latest update. The last phase of the Dino Use scavenger hunt has begun. You have until August 27th to submit your answers for a chance to win tokens. Is anyone doing this? Become a star of workshops. A new session has just begun. Congratulations to 10 winners who topped our Start of Workshops leaderboard from July 31st to August 14th. A new session started on August 15th. Is anyone doing this? Kind of have a feeling with everything going on, people are not doing as many workshops. But if you're doing workshops, tell me. Virtual meetups. Join a virtual summer block party. There are so many awesome virtual events happening for teachers to connect with each other this week. While we may not be able to fire up the grill or bring a covered dish to a neighborhood VIPKID block party, it's easy to check out the community events page and find a virtual meetup. Whether you want to swap recipes, play games, talk about books, chat over snacks, there are teachers ready to connect. Is anyone going to a meetup? I kind of think morale might be down with all that's going on, would be my guess. Trending topics. Our teacher service team and support teams are always keeping a pulse on what is trending. Number one, what to do if I'm a teacher impacted by tropical storms, hurricanes, or severe weather this season. Is anyone dealing with this right now? 2, server update on August 17th, that's today, at 12:05 a.m. to 12:50. So if you try to do your feedback during that time, may not work. Actually, that might be right around the time I was planning to do feedback, because right after this, I have an Outschool class, then I was going to do feedback, which is right around that time. All right, number 3, response regarding the new regulations in China. And that is everything for VIPKID Weekly Report. So I want to see what you guys are saying here. Luann, I will stay as long as possible and shift my focus on Outschool. Also looking for employment in mental health again and not sure what will happen there. I'm hoping for remote most of the time. All right. Yes, me too, Luann. I closed most of my Outschool classes for the summer, and I'm planning to reopen them. Some of them start again this week, and some start again next week. And for those who don't know, I've told you if you come in the past, I did start my brick and mortar job this week. It started yesterday. I'm only teaching one class, but I'm subbing for someone who is out with a death in the family. So I had 2 more classes after that. As you know, it's totally different when you're a sub than when it's your own class. But yeah, I'm busy with that this week. So that has taken my focus off everything happening at VIPKID and Outschool while I'm restarting Outschool. I've heard bookings are down. How are your bookings at Outschool? I want to create a class based on the geography class I'm teaching at the school, but I'm still trying to figure out how to structure it. Yeah, thank you, Luann. The good thing is they give me a lot of autonomy at this school. Like they have a book and then, a book used as the guide. But I think I was planning to follow the book by a T, but I'm like, wait a second, a lot's going on in the Middle East. We just may start with the Middle East. There's a lot going on in current events. Let's start them so they know the geography and the area of, where we're talking about. So anyways, I really like that the school gives me a lot of autonomy. I would not get that in a public school. This is a private school, so that's really awesome. All right, let me read to you the Outschool weekly reports, the Outschool update. Let's see. Okay, I'm taking you straight to my email. All right, and here we go. Outschool policy news update. Policy for class listings. In response to educator feedback, we've updated our policy changes to class listings that will require you to submit your class for approval. We've outlined a few examples that will require approval, generally defined as anything that will fundamentally change your class experience. Okay, I'm going to finish reading the email, and then I'm going to go, I have this ready and this part ready to read you more specific about when you need to resubmit. Okay, policies for playing Santa. Ho, ho, ho. While the holiday season feels far away, we're already seeing an increase in class approval submissions for meet and greet with Santa Claus. So they want you to be intentional about the content, and your listing should clearly explain, okay, the structure of your class, how you'll make children feel included, how you'll address those tricky questions that curious learners are sure to ask, especially as it relates to requests or presents for if Santa doesn't exist. Has anyone dealt with this? I actually had one class where kids started talking about Santa. The class wasn't about Santa. It was just near Christmas. And I had one girl saying, Santa's not real. I'm like, oh no. I quickly changed the subject. It's not like I would want them to find out in my class. You know, that's tricky with the parents. So I can imagine tricky things come up. And then include in your parental guidance section what style of Santa you'll be representing, since Santa's personality and customs may vary by culture and nation. Yes. And they said, remember that Outschool requires you to have a secular experience because, you know, Christmas is a Christian holiday to most people, so they don't want that included in it. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, so now I didn't realize I still had Luann's comment up. Sorry about that if it was over some of the writing. Okay, so let's go into more specifics on what you need for if you want to change your class listing. Okay, give me a second here. And okay. All right. Changing a class listing. In the course of teaching on Outschool, you'll decide that one or more of your classes needs a few tweaks. If these changes are small, like minor changes to age range or class title, then you're welcome to update those as you see fit. I'm glad because honestly, when I first read this, I thought we were going to have to resubmit it every time we needed a class listing. But if you're just changing it slightly, they're saying you don't have to. Because lots of times I will add words to my title based on the class that's coming up that week or what's going on. I added camp to all my title during the summer because people were searching for that. I have one class where we're reading children's biographies of children's books. Hamilton's coming up. I put that in the title that it was the next class because I knew people were searching for that. So those kind of things you don't really have to change. It's only if it basically like completely changes the class that you have to do that. Okay, so needs approval, expansion of class content. Say this is an abbreviated version of your class listing. In this class, we'll focus on sewing techniques and tips for improving your sewing skills, blah, blah, blah. If after teaching this class for a few weeks, you've decided you'd like to make a few changes based on learners' interests, you update your listing to read as follows. In this class, we will focus on techniques and tips for improving your crafting skills, whether you're crocheting, embroidering, quilting, sewing, or cross-stitching. So you added more things to it. Up here, it was just about sewing in the first one. And in the second one, they added crafting, crocheting, embroidery, quilting. So you would need to unlist and resubmit your class. So basically, if you're like totally changing the class, you know, if you want to just slightly change the age range. I have one class where I was like, should I make it 7 to 12 or 8 to 13? You know what I mean? Something small. If you want to just slightly, it's still sewing, but you're just changing part. But if you're adding like crocheting and all these other things, then you need to resubmit. Does not need approval, like I was talking about, for minor shift in age range and class length. So you put a 45-minute class and you decide later, I want it to be 55. We just don't have enough time. You don't have to resubmit. It's basically if it completely changes the class. All right, so let me stop, and they give more details about when you should submit, when you should not. So major change, yes. So like Luann was saying, major changes, yes. And let me go read you another one where they go into a lot more specifics about when to do it, when not to do it. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully I'm sharing the right one. I'll know in a second. Okay. Yes. Changing a class listing. What can I change without going through the class approvals process again? Updates to your class price. You can change the price. And side note, if it's an ongoing class, if you change the price, the people already in the class still pay the old price. So lots of times my strategy is to start low if it's a new class, and then I raise the price. So the people that got in early get the benefit. They get to keep paying the, lower price. Updates or changes to your class schedule, meeting time, or length of class, right? You can change the schedule. Changes to your class image, provided you have rights to the image and it meets our policy. So you just want to change your thumbnail. Minor changes to the age range. But if it's a major change, if you go from 4 to 6 and you want to change it to 15 to 18, then you need to reapprove. So minor changes to the title, like this is what I was talking about, and summary that provide clarity. Like I wanted everyone to know what we're talking about this week. Minor changes to your class experience, like adding weekly themes or focus areas, adding content. What changes need to be approved? When fundamentally changing the class experience, switching from a hip hop to a yoga class, switching from time period of history. When you want to address new sensitive topics out of scope. When do you want to add a topic theme you've not previously demonstrated, like the example we had before where you were changing it from sewing to embroidery. When you want to add core subjects, new core sources to your class listing. Major changes in your title and summary that fundamentally change the class. Major changes to the age range, like changing the target age, moving from pre-K to middle school, adding in the high school range for a class that didn't have it previously. All right, so then they have how to resubmit. I think most of you know that. Okay, so I'm actually really happy about this because when I first heard that we had to resubmit, I thought it was like every little thing. Like if I wanted to add camp to my title, I had to resubmit. So I'm really glad that it's just small things. Yes, and that's pretty much all I have for those two updates. I'll quickly just tell you about my personal life. My kids started their second week of school. As I talked about earlier, I started my new class yesterday. It's a small class, which I love because from teaching on Outschool, I'm used to a small class. It's a high school class. So my biggest fear about teaching a big class of 25 to 30 students in high school is classroom management. And I don't have to worry about that with 8 kids. Hi, Jerry. And so when the kids left my class yesterday, you guys, I hope they continue to feel this way. I overheard them saying, "Oh, this class sounds like it's going to be fun." So I hope that's still the case. I'm used to online teaching, so I tried to make it the same way where I was interacting and getting them to talk and getting them to think. So, that's how we do it on Outschool. That's how I'm going to do it in the class too. So yes, and I'm trying to just work at VIPKID until everything dries up while we can. I have one student that has added me on WeChat, and I want to keep in touch with her and her family. And her family's been wonderful to me, book me all the time. When they first started booking with me a few years ago, they would give me 5 apples after every class. So they are wonderful. Anyways, how are you guys? That's all I have as far as Outschool and VIPKID weekly reports. And in 25 minutes, I have to go teach an Outschool class. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you for coming. Thank you to all of you who watched this later. And I will be back on my channel, same time, same place next week. Bye. See you next time. Oh, Luann says, I wish I could get a WeChat. Oh, I don't know why you can't, Luann, but sorry. I just got one. All right.